Everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard, and welcome back to a weekly Watchlist video sponsored by MarketSmith. As always, we'll run through my weekly focus list and talk both fundamentals and technicals and how I would trade each of these setups. And if you do enjoy this analysis, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It just takes a moment of your time and helps me out immensely. Please go ahead and do that. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And throughout this video, let me know what you think of each of these setups. And let me know one stock you're watching very closely next week for a potential entry. So starting things off, we've got AMD and overall fantastic earnings, margins, sales the past 4 quarters. Great estimates for this year and to fall through in 2022. Nice increase in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in here as well. And overall, we had an undercut and rally last week, and now we finished off the week with a nice inside day above the 50-day moving average, just above the 21 EMA it looks like. And this obviously is a pivot right at this level. And I also like the look of the weekly chart here, a nice hammer off the 100 level. So this looks good into next week on strength, and we'll have to see how this acts, but I definitely want to see volume on any potential breakout, setting your stop right at this Friday's low or even the 50-day moving average, and just letting that be your trailing stop on the way up. So that is AMD. Moving on, we've got Bill, a recent gap up on earnings, great sales the past 4 quarters. Not supposed to be profitable this year or the next, but the estimate revisions are up for 2023. Really nice increase in fund ownership, and look at how many high quality funds are invested in this company. This really draws my interest and gives me a lot more conviction, given that a lot of high quality funds believe there's a lot of promise in this name. So as for the setup, what I'm watching for is a breakout on strength or even an undercut and rally through these lows. You had a nice support bar on this Monday, retaking the 21 EMA. And this day right here on the largest volume since the base, and I believe the largest volume in quite a while, suggests to me that institutions are accumulating this stock. So I'll be watching this one very closely. We'll see if it can break out above these pivots and make its way back towards 300, which so far has been resistant. So that is BILL, bill.com. And moving on, we've got CrowdStrike, an old favorite here. Great earnings, sales margins the past 4 quarters, great estimates for this year, and really nice fall through in 2023. Expected annual EPS estimates up 72%, with estimate revisions up as well. Nice increase in fund ownership and 3 high quality funds invested into this company. Overall, it's forming a little bit of a base on base structure here. Pull back into the 50-day SMA, nice rally off the 250 level. And I believe if you take a look at this low, it held 250 on market weakness, and a really nice hammer candle as well on Friday. So I'm watching for a 2-2 reversal to the upside through Friday's high. This is also a pivot as well as these right here. And going over to a weekly, this also looks really strong. It's actually a 3 weeks tight right above the prior stage 3 standard pivot of 251.28. So I'll be watching this one very closely, and nice inside week as well last week. So that is CRWD. Moving on, we've got DLO, another recent gap up on earnings. Great earnings, sales margins the past 4 quarters, great estimates for this year and the next as well. Estimate revisions are up, but you don't have any high quality funds in here just yet. But overall, looking at the chart, nice push off the 60 level, and I'm watching to see a breakout through these pivots, and even undercut and reclaim to the 21 EMA could be viable. So that is DLO. Moving on, we've got DOCS, another recent IPO, great earnings, sales margins as well. Decent estimates for annual EPS for 2022. A little bit of fall through in 2023. I would like to see this be much higher, but the estimate revisions are up. Look at the fund ownership. You've got 246 funds and a whole bunch of high quality funds once again invested into this company. And if you anchor that VWAP from this gap up day, you'll see that it has been support right around here. And what I'm watching for is a push through these highs on strength, fill this gap here, and retake that 21 EMA. Now it has come quite a ways since its IPO base here, and it could transition to a longer term institutional due diligence phase. So keep that in mind. If it does break this to the downside and fails to recover and hold 80 and the 50 SMA, likely this will need a longer term basing period, similar to what we're seeing with Roblox at the moment if you take a look at that chart. So that is DOCS, definitely a promising young IPO to have your eye on. And moving on, we've got Etsy, which is in this longer term stage 2 consolidation. Decent growth numbers 3 quarters ago, not so much the recent quarter, but sales are still decent. After-tax margins are good as well, but you do see a little bit of deceleration in terms of these metrics. Overall, you've got 13% annual EPS estimates increases for 2021, further 16% in 2022. Estimate revisions are up, a nice increase in fund ownership, and a whole bunch of high quality funds in here as well. Overall, I like the shape of this base. I don't like the look of this gap down on earnings, but did hold this high volume close, which suggests that this kind of high volume without any further downside progress, which is actually a sign of accumulation at that point. You have another gap down and some more gap downs here, but once again, you held this high volume close and didn't break down to the bottom of the space. And so far, we're trending above the 21 and 50 SMA once again. So I'm watching for a push through the 227 pivot on volume. And I really want to see a bunch of volume come in here. I like the look of this Friday candle, upside reversal, just barely undercutting this low and finishing really strongly near the top of the trading range. That is Etsy, watching for a push through these pivots on volume. And moving on, we've got Robinhood, HOOD, and this had a really strong move from its IPO here, and overall really strong sales growth. Estimate revisions you can see are up, but it's not supposed to be profitable in 2022, although it's getting there, and you don't have any fun information just yet. As for the chart, let's go to a 60-minute chart here. You can see it's pretty tight to the end out the week, and I'll be watching to see if this maybe undercuts and reclaims this starting next week, or just kind of pushes through the breakout of this range. But if this does break down, I'll be watching for some type of intraday setup unless it really falls apart. So that is HOOD. Looks strong, nice push off the bottom here on volume, and you can see that volume was really drying up as it retested the 40 level and the IPO price as well. So that is HOOD. Moving on, we've got Lululemon, another recent earnings gap up. Really nice growth numbers in terms of earnings sales margins the past 4 quarters. Decent estimates for 2022 and some fall through in 2023 as well, up 21%. Nice steady increase in fund ownership and 4 high quality funds in here as well. As for the setup, this one could use a little bit more time, some inside days, some pullback on light volume, let the 21 EMA or the 10-day catch up to price, and basically a push up like that and buy through this level on strength, managing risk right at this swing low. But that is Lululemon. Moving on, we've got MNDY, another recent earnings gap up, consolidating right near that 500 level. Nice consistent around 40% in terms of revenue growth. Not supposed to be profitable this year or the next, but the estimate revisions are up. That's a good sign. And we got a nice increase in fund ownership and 5 high quality funds invested into this company. And overall, after this nice gap up on earnings from a stage 3, it's pretty much gone sideways, consolidated a little bit, letting those moving averages catch up. A nice push on this Wednesday and good upside reversal to end out the week on Friday. So I'm watching for a push through these highs. These could be pivots or an undercut and reclaim of the 500 level intraday, or some other type of undercut and rally setup. If we do pull back in the general market and we see this hold, this swing low, or undercut and reclaim it, that could be an early entry point as well. So that is MNDY. Moving on, we've got Melly also forming a really large base here, a stage 3 cup with a handle. Nice earnings sales margins their most recent quarter, and great estimates for 2022, up 172%, although estimate revisions are down. Looking at the fund information, you can see a nice increase over the past 2 years and 2 high quality funds invested into the stock. Overall, it's forming out its handle here. It tried to break out, now pulled back to the stop loss area. Nice action last week here, upside reversal, retaking the 21 EMA on this Friday. So I'm watching for some fall through. Here are some pivots right here, as well as the 1970 level. And I do want to see how it acts versus the 2000 level. But taking a look at the weekly, I really like the look of this base and this nice hammer off the red moving average. So that is Melly. I definitely want to watch. Really nice action within the space, earnings gap up, and it really kind of changed character right here. Nice inside day. I got a nice trade on this day, got stopped out for some profit right around this level. But Melly definitely one to watch as it tries to move up the right hand side and break out to new all-time highs. Moving on, we've got MNDY, which like TASK and ASAN has had a tremendous run, and TASK did break down pretty hard last week, but this is still holding up and forming a little bit of a high type flag setup, using this as the bottom of the flagpole. And what I'm watching is a breakout on strength, and we'll have to see whether this breaks out on volume and starts to move towards these pivots, as well as make its way towards all-time highs and reclaim that 400 level. But overall, really nice sales growth the past 4 quarters. And you can see it's not supposed to be profitable this year or the next, but you've already got 139 funds invested in this company and 3 high quality funds in there as well, along with LA Country Fund, which is always good to see. So that is MNDY. Moving on, we've got Moderna, which is also on my list last week. Not a great Friday at all on higher volume and downside reversal. Actually, not a downside reversal, but just taking out this low. But overall, really nice sales growth and earnings growth the past 4 quarters really. A little bit of a dip in terms of annual EPS expected in 2022, and estimate revisions are down, but you've got a nice increase in fund ownership and 3 high quality funds in there as well. So I do want to see this recover, hold the 21 EMA, form some tight inside days. Then this potentially could be a pivot, as well as the standard cup and handle breakout through the pivot at 464.85. So that is Moderna. And moving on, we've got Tesla, and the optimal buy point was through this DTL on Friday, or even through Friday's high, or actually Thursday's high, or even as it came back in, reclaimed this prior low as well, managing risk at the low of the day. But regardless, I'll be watching to see if this pulls back on lighter volume or offers some other type of intraday entry, maybe a wick setup late last week, and see how it acts versus the 780 level. But overall, that is Tesla, looks pretty good. And last on the list, we've got ZI. This has been a frustrating one to trade, especially if you're just looking at daily, which is why I like to take a look at the weekly charts here. A nice inside week, so I'll be watching for an inside week and up. And you've got a nice base on base consolidation stage 1. So overall, really nice earnings, sales margins the past 4 quarters, great estimates for this year and the next. And we've got a nice increase in fund ownership and a whole bunch of high quality funds invested into this stock. So overall, I'm watching for a breakout on huge volume through these pivots. I really want to see conviction, and even a 2-2 reversal on Monday could be actionable for this stock. So that is ZI. And zooming back out, we've got my focus list for this week. Let me know your thoughts on these setups down below in the comment section. Remember to leave a like down below on the video, and let me know one stock you're watching for next week. And with that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Thanks.